Sally Forth Paladins, and welcome back to another episode of Starfleet Command, Orion Pirates Plus One. I'm Fleet Admiral Tyrk of the battleship HMS Insouciant, as we continue our campaign against the Lyran Star Empire. And last time, well, we have been pounding the planet of 1-3, got its Empire defense down to 41, although in the last battle, well, not the last battle, but the one before that, we took a pretty decent pounding when it was 3 battleships versus our battleship and another friendly dreadnought. So we managed to win, which was very cool, but we are just a little bit dented, so we need to kind of head back home real quick. Before we get utterly annihilated by things. I'm going to take the patrol. It's risky, but we're going to do it anyway, because normally a patrol is a 1-on-1, sometimes a 2-on-1, but not super often. And so we should be able to hopefully pull this off without too much trouble. Probably won't pay as well, but it's more fun. Red alert and all systems to overload. Let's make sure we have the maximum amount of firepower we can possibly get out of the ship at this time. Phasers are almost fully charged, although apparently the multiple setting is at maximum. I'm not quite sure why. We're going to quickly get ourselves up to speed as soon as we can. Maximize the speed of time as long as we're sitting here waiting. So we'll also make sure that we have the forward shield reinforcement up to a full power. And hey, that's a Lyran battleship. I think anyway. We'll go 4 and 2 for the electronic countermeasure. We do have a reduced complement of fighters at the moment. It is indeed the BBX Call of the Wild. And we're going to have to take that one on with basically ourselves and a single squadron of fighters. So not the best thing in the world for us, but we should be able to battle him pretty decently. All of our weapon systems are fully charged. We're getting ourselves up to speed, so we should have a little bit of defense all set up already. And we will deploy our fighters in defense mode, I feel. That'll probably be a good idea. We may lose them, but we're already on the way home. It's already going to cost us a pretty significant amount of cash in order to get the fighters all fixed up and replaced. But hey, we have a full squadron of 5, and that's not a small amount of firepower by any stretch of the imagination. We're going to select our Hellbores just to be ready when he decides to activate his ESG. We can shut him off with our Hellbores, and then batter him down with all of our other weapons. Okay, a little bit of light fire from his disruptors. He's turning off. What's he gonna do? Turn off, please. Okay, so his ESGs are now offline. Get in point blank range and open him up. Only 185 damage, which is a bit unfortunate. Slow down. Back to normal mode on the Hellbores, turning away. That'll give us a little bit of shield reinforcement that we can rely on. Our fighters have decided that they're going to go into combat air patrol mode, which I suppose is good because they're set to defend me anyway. But I can defend myself, thank you very much. That's it for my current setup of phasers with the current power that I have, but we're about to get a couple more on Chark, I think. Maybe? Possibly? No, not really. Okay. That's alright. We need to charge up our weapon systems to be able to engage this, and I'm fairly certain he's about to come in and just rip them all apart with his Gatling phasers. Yep, there goes one. So he has no forward shield, although we don't want to get too close. Port side broadside to knock through a little bit more, damaging him quite nicely. And our fighters are about to die. Let's see if we can't call them home. Nope, they're dead. Oh well, that's unfortunate. So let's pick up the pace a little bit here. I don't want to be going too slowly at the moment. You know what? Fusion cannons to normal mode. That'll free up quite a bit of power for us to use for other things. And he's about to get in nice and close to me on the port side. Really damaging my shields, but I can hurt him a little bit more than he can hurt me. Open select. Hey, we've got a couple more systems. He's about to turn on an ESG, I think. Yep. Okay, so we lost the forward port shield, but we're coming around to show up the starboard side, and we'll be on his stern. Could take this guy out, and I think I'm going to try. Come on, get around. There we go. Was able to get the shields up in time, so we're perfectly safe there. Pseudo frigate's almost dead at this point. Heavy weapons are about to come back online. Gatling phaser able to do a little bit more damage. We may want to circle wide just to stay out of his defensive envelope, but I think we got him at this point. He has whittled down most of our shields, but at this point, he's having basically a really bad day. Managed to miss a Hellbore at a range of 5.3, which is pretty sad, but we're doing okay. Okay, all of his pseudo frigates have been dealt with. All of our fighters have been dealt with. And now we're just in a nice position. We're far enough away that he can't hit us with the ESG, but we're close enough that we're still pretty damaging to his shields. And any amount of damage is just going to start hurting him now. Hellbore. Oh, managed to miss again. Really? I didn't think the accuracy was that bad. There we go. Managed to nail him with the Hellbore on that one. And we can fall back out to a more evasive setup. Holding the defense shift to keep us a little bit better defended. As long as he can't bring this shield into line, we can just continue plink him until he's dead. Every single time a Phaser X comes online, we get to shoot. And staying just a little bit outside. There we go. Wow. Single shot phasers. We're finally able to do him in. So armor took most of that. We didn't actually lose any ship system. Well, actually, no. We lost a single Phaser X. Unfortunate. 262 prestige is our reward and a neutralized style. And we get to go home. Hi. There's no other ship that we could possibly buy at this point. We've gotten ourselves into the biggest, most baddest vessel you can possibly get. So, time to restock on fighters. This is going to be the expensive part. Oh, it's going to cost 600 to get all these fighters back. But it was a 3-on-2 battleship battle, so I can't be too irritated by it. Although also a couple of spare parts and marines, because we've been on a fairly aggressive setup, just bombarding planets over and over, and that uses quite a few marines in order to do that. So get ourselves fully kitted out. Lovely, done. And back to the map. We're not going to take any mission here. It stops us here. I'll do the mission to actually, no, maybe... Yeah, it's going to stop us here anyway. I can't move beyond it since it's a surprise to first, but this will be a surprise to first to grab a tile, so not a terrible outcome. So let's just get ourselves up to speed. There is no point in overloading the weapon systems on this one. You just run as fast as you can into the enemy. And I think we're at maximum speed at this point. I could launch my fighters ASAP because I think they can travel faster than I can. And they'll probably get to these guys sooner, but I don't know if these are potentially armed with anti-missile defense systems. If they are, suddenly that becomes a very bad idea. So we're going to increase the speed of time so we can charge up all of our systems, and there goes our systems all charged. Well, the phasers anyway. So we're going to hold on to the fighters just a little bit longer. That way we don't risk anything too dangerously. So it is an XFF probe. Gatling, oh wow, actually that's pretty interesting. He's got a whole bunch of Gatling 2 phasers, which are a very nice weapon system. They're very powerful. They're basically phaser 1s on a Gatling mount, which is terrifying. But luckily, our fighters should be more than capable of handling them. We're going to be going into this MNR, and I wish I had enough time to get my forward shield reinforced, but hey, I was slow. Oh, come on, guys. Don't waste your firepower on that. I gave you an order. Kill the X-type frigate. It's irritating the fighters only sometimes pay attention to what you're actually telling them to do, because it would be nice if they actually paid attention to what you were telling them to do. Oh, phasers are, barely not reset. We came in here with just a bit too much speed, but then we were able to hit them over the shoulder on that one. Lovely. And our fighters are just moving in a huge group onto the next one. We're, in fact, going to call them home, because by the time they finish getting home, they'll have annihilated them. Or at least I will. Yep. See? They are just phenomenally good at it. Alright, everybody, get back home. You as well. Theodore, I did not give you permission to fly away. Get back onto the ship right bloody now. I'll wait for him, because I don't want to waste a fighter group, because they are, after all, 150. Not exactly something you just want to be throwing around at random. Okay, on to the last one. He's an LR+1, which 6 phaser 1s is actually not terrible. 6 phaser X's would have been better, but... well, he's a pirate ship after all. We can't expect the latest and greatest gear on every single pirate ship that we run across. That'll be 300 prestige and a tile taken, I believe, unless we get unlucky with things. And that'll give us a nice little invasion corridor to the next 2 planets, actually. Because there's a planet right up, tile it up, right up here and down here. This one, of course, is at 51. This one is at 41 because we've been, well, turning the screws up. Let's take a planetary assault. They tend to be a little bit more fun in my book. Just because you have one thing to go after rather than 3 things to travel around towards. Red alert and overload the heavy weapon systems. We were escorted today by the Glorious Hunt. He is a Marak battleship and currently scoring off against a single battleship at the moment. The Razor Fang, Razor Claw? Probably Razor Claw. But we don't know anything else beyond that at the moment as we sit here and charge up our weapon systems. Really, that's all we're going to do at the moment. We have basically maxed out all of our energy charge rates. We're not even charging a couple of our fusion cannons. But at the end of the day, having the full charge assault is just a ton of damage. We've seen it can literally one-shot a battleship if you do it right. And by do it right, I mean if you roll really luckily on several things. Set a probe. Let's find out to see if he's really alone. I doubt it, but he could be. Check of the planet real quick. It is a PL-1, so no actual defenses on board the planet. And it looks like he's all on his own. Oh my. He might have a very bad day. He's got 2 battleships coming down on him, and he's all by himself, and the planet has no defenses. That's adorable. Okay, so we should be able to take care of him in relatively short order. I'd prefer not to lose any fighters on this one, because they're expensive to replace, and I'd like to be here for a while. Similarly, I also would prefer not to lose any shields. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to half hide behind the Glorious Hunt. Let's make sure we don't forget our electronic countermeasure and electronic countermeasure, as well as the shield reinforcement, as that's a very important thing to have. Get us up to forward shield. We used to, like, in the frigate battles in the lower end of the game, we will, like, micromanage this shield reinforcement to the max, because frigate on frigate battles is really tight, but once you get into the heavy cruiser range, we stop doing it until it gets really tight. We have become somewhat lazy with having a ship quite so large. So we're going to get behind the Glorious Hunt, make it so that he is the first one to engage, because honestly, I don't really care if the Merak ship gets broken. Don't tell him I said that, because if he finds out, he may decide to shoot on me. Although, we probably could take care of all of his missiles. He's only got 12 of them, and he doesn't have any MIRVs. Although his anti-missile defenses are absurd. He's got 8 of them. 8. That's just good luck getting through that. You're going to have a really interesting time of things. Onto the battleship off over here. Tempted to, yeah, we'll deploy our fighters now. Set them up in defend mode. We want them around me and nowhere else, because if I send them on attack, it might put them in too dangerous a position. So the fighter is already accelerating to get on their combat air patrol, and I anticipate that you are going to waste all of your firepower on the Glorious Hunt, because he's a Merak and you're a Lyran, and that's oil and water. And we're going to have a nice position to come up on him. You've already lost a shield, which means all of my Hellbores are going to have an easy shot. And no, he's dedicating his phaser firepower into me, and he's barely doing enough speed to outrun these, which means by the time... Yep, there goes his crash stop, which will defend him from these, yeah, but we're about to be perfectly positioned to just come in from the back. And of course, you know, our pseudo-frigates deciding that they have to waste very powerful Hellbores to wipe out pseudo-frigates. Now they're starting to lay into the Razor Claw. It was the Razor Claw, we were right about that one. Okay, closing into a close on range. We are about to hit a corner, but that's going to be fine. Get me close enough. Oh, that's very, very weak. Oh, no you don't. Shut that thing off right now. I think it worked. Okay, good. All open systems to normal mode. And fighters are amazing. Return to me. And then you can return to me. Oh, you disappeared. You can return to me. You can return to me. I don't know which ones, so I'm going to give them multiple orders. Just get back on board, folks. We'll be fine. It's all going to be good. And you're there, and you... Okay, everybody's back in the bay. Lovely. And the planet is not defended, which is great, because we're going to overload all of our weapon systems as we charge towards the planet. Need to make sure that we send all of our electronic countermeasure to maximum power, because the planet's not going to be shooting us, and it will be putting out as much defense as it possibly can manage, but we shouldn't have too much trouble with that. Oh, I prefer very much assaulting PLs instead of PLPHs. PLPH just makes your life a lot less fun, because then you actually have to take the time and effort to steadily work your way in closer, because their phaser 4s will just rip on into you. He's already through the shields. I mean, that should tell you everything you need to know. Well, because he doesn't have shields. It makes life a lot easier when your enemy does not put up any sort of credible defense. We're going to make sure that we have the emergency stop button all ready to go, and try not to crash into me. You can't actually crash into other ships in this game, but just from a standpoint of what looks good, I would prefer it if the Merak ship did not smash into mine. Well, the Merak ships need a bit of a model update. Well, eventually, though. One of the cool things that is currently being done right now in the fan patch community is they're currently looking into updating the models of the base game. So in Orion Pirates Plus, we've got a whole bunch of updated models anyway, because Firesoul, when he first made it, went through and grabbed a whole ton of model packs and put them into it. And what they're doing is they're turning the base game into looking hopefully as good as Firesoul's work. We did 199 damage with that. That's quite nice. Let's see. How many Marines are left? A grand total of 5. Grand total of 2. So, if you're not interested in having the massively expanded ship list, which can get very confusing, and I know there are some people who are not a fan of it, if you just want to play the base game, well, pretty soon, you're going to have just as good-looking models as we get for the Federation in our game. So, and I'm hoping that will then expand towards all the races, because I think it'd be really cool if, well, the Merak got a very neat model update. Since I've kind of looked around and I don't really see anything that I would really consider to be great for the Merak in terms of a brand new model. So let's continue the planetary assaults. They're more fun. I will stand by. Oh, they also pay you out better. Unless, of course, you capture all of the Stardock, which if you do that, you're going to have a great time. Oh, this might be a 2-on-1. BBX, PL8. Okay, so the planet's not going to be hard to kill. But this might be the dreaded 1-on-1, or the dreaded 2-on-1. So we're just going to sit here and charge up, get all our systems ready to go. So this, and then this, and then this, that, and that. Okay, good. Bro. Okay, yep, it is the 2-on-1. So that's going to make life very difficult. So first of all, fighters to defense mode immediately is what they're required. We can't mess around with this guy. We've got to basically gut him on the first pass through. Power, how can I steal? I can steal quite a bit. So I think we can take it. I think we can do the 2-on-1 without too much trouble. We've done the 2-on-1 before. Although if they get close to each other, which they're apparently doing, life could get very, very painful. Okay, he's already started to open fire. Yeah, they're going to be super on top of each other. So here's the rules, guys. We get in close, we hit hard, and then you fade away. Because I don't want them to go in on him just yet, but I don't have a choice. Okay. You're going in for the attack. And he's going on for the ESG, which was my concern. Shut it off. Okay, that opened the door for them. And now, point blank range. All weapon systems to normal. Phasers back to overload. Pass on through. We want to potentially save our forward shield if at all possible. Okay, first group down. Call all the fighters home. Because now the fighters are very weak. That was a lot of firepower.
Returning now.
Get back home, guys. Don't play games with them. If you die because of this, I'm gonna be furious. Because I gave you an order. Yeah, he's turning into him. There's... Oh, good. Okay, he shot at me. That's better. Okay, I can take... Come on, guys. Get back on... No, he's gonna get ESG'd. Or not? No, he got ESG'd. Gosh darn it. I exposed a pretty significant amount of my ship in order to try and pull that one off. Okay, I need more speed. I need to pull away from him. Aft shields are down. Not good. We don't need any shields coming out of this battle, so there is that working for us. More phasers. Punish him. Punish him badly. Marines. Yeah, I don't want to capture. I also would like not to bump him. Okay, that was a bit. That'll reduce the damage that it can do. A little bit more. I have Hellbores available, I just don't have the ability to do anything about it just at the moment. Okay, we need to come back around. We're basically shedding most of our armor on this battle, but that's fine because it is a 2-on-1. Okay, pull through, get the defense on that. Hellbores, do you have a shot? Come on, give me a shot with the Hellbore. There we go, knocked it out. Fighters, how you doing? No fighters as of yet. Once we can get the fighters, we'll have a good time. We need to keep repair... not that. Gatling phasers, very much Gatling phasers. That's a problem. And fire. So I'm hoping to stun offline. I don't think I pulled it off. I might have, actually. Keep the repair going on. Fighters, how we doing? Fighter squadron's ready to go. Lock and load. Get out right away. We are in a lot of trouble at this moment, but I think it's manageable at the moment. Assuming, of course, you don't waste your time with the gosh darn pseudo frigates. I'm giving you an attack order, okay? Attack, kill, murder, death. Destroy the enemy dreadnought battleship. Yeah, they're taking a ton of fire here, and we're getting low on firepower. Want this phaser group back up line. Is that all my phasers? Okay, they've mostly dealt with all of that. So, fighter squadron, you come home. Come home now. And lucky for us, we get to deploy another fighter squadron. And look at how they just knife right on through that defense. So the tables have turned. Come on, get back home. Gosh darn it, that's another 150. Ugh. So this was not as clean as it could have been. There was definitely a way to play this better. The main thing would have been to rush in a lot faster. Because if we had rushed in, then we could have kept him from being able to deploy... kept them from meeting up together, and that would have given us a first easy pass on through. We would have made our fallback position, and the fighters wouldn't have gotten suckered in on the battleship. Good, passing through, and that's good. Alright, we're alive, and they're not. Target the planet. Slow down, so we don't hit the mines. And all fighters come home. So not as clean as I wanted. I definitely would have preferred to be able to not take all of this damage on the way through. Okay, I need the Hellbores back online. I don't need any of that online. Let's maximize the speed time. Oh, hull breach is not... We're fine, we're fine. Get back on board. Thank you. Okay, lovely. That mine actually could have killed us. Let's get all the repairs going. Also, countermeasure to maximum defense. Or maximum offense, I suppose. So we just need to fix all of the things on the ship, which we're in rough shape, but we're not dead. Which is definitely working in our favor. And because it's just a normal PL, we can just steadily march on in here. It's going to be an expensive repair, but again, it was a 2-on-1 battleship fight, so I'm not super broken up about it, although it does kind of suck because it doesn't look as good as if we had managed to knife our way through both of those. But yeah, waiting for so long, just sitting there waiting for our systems to charge up, probably should have just gone in right away. That would have prevented them from making that turn into each other, where they were trying to defend each other. Alright, that should finish up our lab repairs. And... oh, I missed a Gatling phaser. So a lot of repairs getting done at this point. Just a whole bunch of systems not currently online. Which, you know, bit of a shame. But luckily for us, most of our phasers are going to be back online, and our phasers is a pretty significant amount of our damage. I mean, the fusion cannons are even more, if we're completely honest with ourselves, but it should work out okay. I hope. Okay, that's our Gatling phasers online, which we don't actually need because we can't use Gatling phasers on this siege because I'm not going to get close enough for him to use his 8 phaser 3s, which is the equivalent of 2 Gatling phasers. So let's, actually we don't really need to slow down all that much because we are sort of bumbling along quite slowly anyway. For, safety reasons. Also power consumption reasons. We were down to 60-something power. So we've basically fixed the ship up from a burning wreck at this point. So we'll be fine. We'll be good. We just have no armor, so we are going to go home after this one just to get all repaired and rearmed. Okay, getting nice and close, so our weapons will do the most amount of damage that it possibly can. I'll stop just outside of range. All of them select from far. Okay, 114. Not terrible. That's heavy cruiser range. As we'll just continue to blast away at the planet. We will get through. They will not be able to stop us. Is there any other heavy weapons that I've missed? I don't think so. Well, aside, of course, from this Phaser X, but that mount is actually still fully intact, so it's not a big deal that it's kind of busted. And as we continue to repair, we'll get more weapon systems back online, the planet will be even more vulnerable, and eventually we'll be able to kill everybody. Speaking of, how's my transporters doing? Is that something I need to prioritize at the moment? I don't think so. Alright, let's send the Marines, see how it happens. Ooh, we only had 2 transporters. So it's a bit of a test here to see whether or not my Marines can survive long enough. You know what, just go over. Make sure it works. Alright, so that will be the planet taken. And at the end of it, hopefully it'll repair most of these things. Because if not, well, we're heading home anyway. We're not about to run another mission. Took too much damage on that one. Lost 2 fighter squadrons. That's going to be the expensive part of it. Although, to be fair, the surprise reverse that we took in order to grab that tile before this, that'll pay for it. So the fighter squadron was basically a wash. And this mission will definitely pay for the repairs and the rearms. So we still made a little bit of cash, just not as much as we'd like. As we progressively knock down more planets, we should run into fewer battleships. So Empire Defense is down to 31. We're starting to get into the danger zone there. Coming to the supplies, 462. Wow, he really did maul us quite badly. And we can go up here and up here. Now, part of the reason why we took so much damage is because we're inviting a big gun battle because we're going overload on everything. So if we start trying to play a little bit more nimble and quick, as that battleship carrier absolutely can, we could probably get a lot more done without taking so much damage. But that's going to do it for today's episode. I've been Tirek. If you like what you've been seeing, hit that like button and subscribe. If you want to see a notification every time I post one of these videos, press that little bell icon. Leave a comment and I will see you all in the next episode.